Hi, this is Imagination with the Ethical Asshole, and I am your host, the Salty Bitch. So, I was watching this guy on on Instagram, and he was talking about his perspective on The View, which was really interesting. And he said exactly what I was picking up a while ago. And I'm like, yeah, I get it was really interesting. He was saying that it's really aptly named because it is all these people integrating all of the same perspective into one point of view, and they just repeat the same point of view, and they applaud each other for repeating the same point of view that everyone in this particular group has. And this is something that's really fascinating to me because I love perspective. I love the science of perspective is the most amazing thing to me. I think of everything I've done. This is it right here. A point of view is literally your relativity to the truth. That's all it is. So you got the truth and you've got one point that is looking at the truth. But here's the thing about the truth that a lot of people don't know. You're not going to get the whole truth and understand the truth with only one point of view. You require all points of views in order to put in fractions and puzzle pieces to get the truth. So a closed mind is a mind that only has one point of view in relativity to the truth. You have to literally master all the points of views and then integrate them to understand the truth. The more points of views you have, the more you round out your single perspective and the more you can understand the truth. And when I was doing my research in perspective science, I did a lot of interviews. I interviewed a lot of people. And what I learned was people are very limited because people don't know this, first of all. And people parrot because they're stuck in the foundational stage of learning. So they never got to the authority stage. So they're just keeps repeating, mimicking. And then I noticed that everything is grouped. It's because they have a lack of discipline and understanding in mathematical grouping. So everything's binary almost. It's either or. And that's where you get a lot of division happening and disintegration. Now, what I noticed, and this is where it gets really fascinating to me, was you have the 3 stages of disintegration. The ideal stage is to have perspective on a spectrum where you're accumulating as much point of view as possible to get a full spectrum. That allows you the ability to navigate and move around the truth. The second stage and I wouldn't even call that disintegration. I would say that that's ideally where we all should be aspiring to be. That way we can understand things. The second thing is that binary, where you've gotten yourself down to only 2 points of views, black and white, either or, versus competition, me versus them. Now you've locked yourself into what I call 2-dimensional thinking because you are literally only thinking in 2 dimensions, which is really actually a point and is actually just 2 definitions. The thing is, you've sided with only one of those 2 definitions. So you're actually not binary thinking, you're solo thinking, you're thinking in one definition that you've put yourself into, so you've put yourself in a box. And then the other one is the point thinking. The point thinking is where prejudice occurs. More specifically, it's where this is what I refer to as oneness, where you are only thinking in terms of yourself only and everything else is wrong. And this is the state of being most closed-minded. You are literally living inside the point, and the walls and the blinders have closed you off. So it's literally like this closed-mindedness, and then you expand your mind to binary thinking, but you're still only choosing one or the other. To be truly binary thinking, you need to take both concepts and integrate them. Then you'd be actually binary thinking. So what we see a lot of with the either or is actually one-dimensional thinking, prejudice thinking, one definition thinking, and we've refused any other alternative. When you start to get into the stage where you're going, let's do both, either or, you start to see, not be, see, gray in a situation. And that's where, and this is the LGBTQIA community, this is where they're starting to slide over here. And the LGBTQIA community has mastered the skill of thinking outside of the box. And this is what the box is. The box is the point, the box, and then spectrum thinking. So spectrum thinking is literally a mission to accumulate as many perspectives as possible so you can integrate these points of views into a single truth. That way you can better define the truth. But you also need the ability to literally measure your knowledge. That way you have the ability to go, what is the percentage of truth that I actually have of the truth? And this is what the 18 academic disciplines are, is the 18 different ways you can dissect all of the truth. So a musician, and you've heard this, everyone's heard this. This is the statement, if you ask a podiatrist what your problem is, it'll be a foot problem. And if you ask a gynecologist what your problem is, it'll be a gynecological problem. If you ask a gastrologist, a gastrologist, what your problem is, it'll be gastrointestinal problem. And whatever their vocation and mastery is, that's their only point of view that they've mastered. So that's the only thing that they're looking for. What you end up with is closed-mindedness. And this is where the holistic concept comes in, and it opens up that point of view so you can see the big picture. We call this interdisciplinary. That's what that is. That is exactly what that is. It's interdisciplinary, where it allows you to see all of the pieces in one. And this is the most beautiful thing about interdisciplinary study, is the more you study a little bit of everything, the more they overlap, and the more you realize, oh, they're not separated at all. A prejudiced mind is one that thinks that the subjects are separated. They're not. What they are is one subject, the subject of truth, and the truth is composed of you and Mother Nature and your relativity to each other. So once you understand that truth is actually Mother Nature and you in relativity to each other, Mother Nature is the right one. You are in relative to Mother Nature. So how right or wrong you are is going to be relative to how much you match to Mother Nature. You don't know if you match to Mother Nature if you haven't studied Mother Nature. Mother Nature is broken down into 18 disciplines. So the more you study these 18 disciplines, the more you understand Mother Nature's entirety, and you can start to navigate your relativity to Mother Nature. And as you do that, you're able then to measure your own knowledge, measure the knowledge of other people, measure where you are in relativity to the truth and how much of your knowledge makes up actual truth versus the bullshit. And this is where we're walking into the stage, and this is where we're going. This is absolutely where our future is heading, is there's going to be a point where people figure this out mathematically. They're going to start doing the grouping, and they're fumbling their way through scientific method right now. They don't know it, but they are. So that right now people are like, oh, it's all about intuition. Well, very good. There's 4 stages of intuition, and that is actually the first beginning part of scientific method. The next part is logic, linguistic, word, and comprehension. That's the next stage. So when you start to see people finally walking out of intuition and stepping into communication, word, and logic, they're going to take intuition with them, and they're going to integrate intuition with logic, word, communication. Now, I'm totally manifesting this right now because I want this. As that happens, we're going to see an increase of communication skills. We're going to see this beautiful ability to articulate much, much better our words. And the best part of all of this is when we get to this stage, people are going to return to the dictionary, realize it's bullshit because a good portion of it was made up by the liars, the narcissists, the bigots, and the bullies. And they're going to go back to the etymology. They're going to be learning logic while they do this, and they'll be able to logically deduce that the etymology is also tampered with. Then they'll be able to reverse engineer etymology and get back to the root. It's Old Persian, Old Norse. It predates everything we were told. And as they start to dig this out, they're going to start to make the connection where the language actually came from, what the words actually meant. They're going to be not even arguing among themselves at this point, because with the logic coming in, they're going to stop arguing and they're going to start using formal argument and debate properly, combined with that beautiful blend of manners. So you're going to see people suddenly start to become actual students when they get to this stage. And they're going to realize that there is a very distinct difference between my intuition is telling me X But my intuition might also be contaminated. So I'm going to pull the logic here, clean out my intuition, sharpen the logic in my intuition. And now I can tell the difference between my intuition being X, my trauma interfering with this because it's not logically aligned to the truth, and where it is I'm going, which means they've lied. And that's literally how you can do it is your intuition, when you know what to look for, when you know what to feel for, will literally tell you when someone is lying. You can use your intuition as a lie detector. That's why there's so much cognitive dissonance in the world, is because you can feel the lying. When you start to tell the truth, it gives you a feeling and a sensation. And that feeling and sensation literally tells you what the truth feels like. And then you start to get around people who are lying or even giving you misinformation, and you're going to learn there's no difference. If you are ignorant and don't know, it feels the exact same way as somebody who is intentionally lying. It doesn't matter. I was watching this video last night where this guy has a dog, and the dog apparently had a favorite TV show about dogs, and the dog was watching TV, a Siberian Husky, if you want to know the breed. And he wanted to emphasize to the audience how attached his dog was to this show. So he turned the TV off in the middle of the dog's show, and the dog got protested. It got up and it started like, turn it back on. Now the man lied to the dog. And as soon as he lied to the dog, I could feel it. I could feel the lies. He kept saying, oh, the cable company did this. And it was bullshit. But here's the thing. Every time he lied, the dog reacted like he was lying. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch because the dog could feel the lies. No matter what he was saying, the dog knew. And every time he said something that was lying and I got a blast of lying energy, I was immediately able to go, no, that, okay, by the way, lying energy is actually just logic. It's literally the feeling of illogic. It's not an energy at all. It's really, it's a frequency. And that's the difference. It's a frequency because what you're doing is you're literally colliding with a frequency and you're getting out of alignment. So that's cognitive dissonance. It's not energy, it's frequency, completely different creature. So he's sitting there saying this and it's literally like shifting it. And every time he lied, the dog started barking at him like, stop lying. Now, if he said something that wasn't a lie, the dog was calm and thinking. And I was fine. He lied, the dog got up and started barking again. And I'm like, that dog can feel the frequency of cognitive dissonance. You can feel when you're lying. It was amazing to watch. So once you understand that the more you tell the truth, what you're really doing is practicing the feeling of cognitive harmony or cognitive harmony. Oh, harmonic dissonance is what we call it in music. Harmonic dissonance. I'm sorry. Give me a minute. I got to think here. If it's not dissonant, then it's harmonic. Why do I have a block here? Why do I have a block here? This is interesting. I do have a block. Cognitive dissonance, cognitive harmony, harmonic dissonance, consonance, constant. Oh, there it is. Isn't that beautiful? Constant truth, harmonic truth. Isn't that fucking gorgeous? I love the way physics and math and music just keep falling into each other. So what you are looking for is the consonance that provides the harmony, the alignment, so that when you tell the truth, you practice feeling what that truth feels like. That way, when you're around a liar or someone with misinformation, you're going to be able to tell that's not truth. And that will sharpen your scale. Now, you're going to learn this. You're going to feel that navigation inside of you the more you tell the truth. And as you learn logic and words, etymology, linguistics, and philology, it will take you back and you'll sharpen this. Your communication skills are going to skyrocket. Now, when we partner that, this is my favorite part right here. When we partner that with us asserting ourselves and reclaiming our voices, that's going to open up our voice, which is the direct channel to your identity. And it's going to empower you. It's going to release all of that lie and toxicity of illogic, and it's going to release it and correct it all with truth, which is why your power gets powered, is because you have removed the logic, which creates the cognitive dissonance. So after that stage, we move into the science dissection stage. That's where you get into the metric of measuring all of this. That's what math does. It measures truth. After that, it also measures the purity of truth versus lie. And it also measures your relativity to truth. So you can really start navigating at this point. So navigation begins around logic mathematics. And then physics comes in and you can start powering your motor. So first you've got your intuition and you can sense that it's there. And then it's let's learn the command control center, and that's going to be your word, your language, your communication. And once you get your voice mastered, then it's going to move into, okay, now let's measure this. And once you learn the measuring of it, then you're going to learn the powering it up, which is the physics. Now, once you get to that point, it leads you into chemistry, which is the reaction that things have with each other. And then you're going to learn how to not run your bumper car into other cars. And what happens if you do, that is going to lead you into the physics and chemistry department. And then you're going to put all of this together. This is biology. And you're going to know how to navigate, steer, problem solve, and literally live your life effortlessly without any kind of a problem. Once we get the majority of us to that, this is literally what's going to become the common thing for us to learn. And this is literally what all of our schools are going to be revolving around, is this navigational skill, this life navigational skill. The academic disciplines are the how to apply this in real life right here. This is how it's done. So we have some stepping stones to get through. We have some barricades. It's going to be really, really difficult at first because this is change. And once you cross over, smooth waters. So it's very much and this is really the mentality. It's we all need to do this. No, you set the role model. You just do it. Everyone needs to come over and you need to only focus on you, your bags, and yourself. Everyone else is going to follow you. Your energy is going to pull them, and you're going to have the mimic, mirror, repetition response. So they're going to witness and watch, and then they're going to repeat. The people who are primed for that repetition just want that leader or the follower. A lot of people don't want to go first. That is part of that fifth ethical perspective. They never want to go first because they're the doubting Thomases. Derogatory word. I hate that. But they are the ones who need proof. They are the ones who will not make that first leap. They need someone else to make that leap. So if you are a person who makes the first leap, I am a first leaper. I am the first one to go. I'll be there. I will be the first one to go. And there's nothing playing it safe about this role. So this is for the people who don't have a problem going, I'm going to be the first one. And that's okay. It requires going into the unknown. It requires carving the path. And this is pioneering. So you're going to have the pioneers. These are the first wave. And if you're there already, pioneer it. Just go. Don't worry about dragging people along. Don't worry about convincing them. When they see that you've walked, the fifth perspectives will go, oh, you're the one who's eating the red berries to prove that the red berries aren't going to kill you. You're the one eating the mushroom going, I wonder what this is. And you're the one eating the mushroom and then it doesn't kill you. And then everyone goes, oh, and it's just because for whatever reason, your self-preservation is a little bit lower than everybody else's. I don't know why. I'm the same way. My self-preservation is a lot lower. I don't know why. Why is that? Because I learned that true self-preservation is not making the changes in that society because it was killing me. So I had to make the changes, and I realized I have a better chance of survival if I eat that mushroom than staying with all of the sheep. Like, no, we got to go. So this is the pioneer mindset. So if you are a pioneer, you just taking action and doing is enough that it's going to cause a chain reaction. And the fifth perspectives are going to go, oh, it's safe because they did it. They ate the berry first. It's safe. We can eat the berries. And then they're going to go. And when they go, that's going to increase this volume. And that's when you're going to see this beautiful shift in the equilibrium. So focus on yourself. Do your own work. Set the example. This is role model learning. It's mimic, mirror, repetition, response. And then when you throw in the golden rule and reciprocity on top of that, this is a powerful combination. Now, I'm going to throw one little thing in here. When it comes to narcissists or bigots or bullies, same thing. I like to combine them all into just one word, bigots. When you have a bigot, they feel that they are exempt from the golden rule. And this is literally the core of their power. This is the core of their influence, is they feel they are exempt from the golden rule. And this is the core of all of their anger. They don't feel that this applies to them. They believe they are exempt from the rule of reciprocity. So they feel I can treat you like any way I want, and you have to be nice to me. So they will treat you like crap violate the reciprocity law, and then command that you use the golden rule on them. Now, when you understand this concept, you'll recognize it and you'll go, oh, you think you're exempt from the golden rule. And now you're angry because reciprocity applies to you. So once you understand that, it breaks their delusion that they are somehow exempt from reciprocity and the golden rule. Do not cast your pearls before swine. And that is what that meant, to be plugged into this concept. So you're going to want the golden rule, reciprocity, but also that swine pearl statement, because that really, really allows the bigot to be powerless when it comes to that exchange. I cannot emphasize to you enough how really, really important this clause is. It's literally the bigot clause. It's the escape clause that's going to get you out of being abused. Is no one is exempt from the golden rule. Reciprocity applies to everyone. And if they're going to absolutely trample your pearls, don't cast them before swine. And if you need a translation for that, the pearls are your fruit. It's the best part of you. And it is your kindness. Do not give kindness to swine. They need to be sitting in the corner in their dunce caps being, you need a timeout. Assert yourself with them. I was actually watching one video today, and they were asking, they're like, we really need to do something about this. And people were asking, I'm going to do something on Instagram. I'm going to do a whole, this is what you do with these people. The power of those people, and it's not actually power. It's the manipulation. Let's actually call it what it is. Power is potential. It is not anything else. It is just potential. What they are actually doing is manipulation. And they have used power to manipulate. But power's real name is potential. What they're really doing is influencing. So they are influencers who use manipulation. And they do this through words. Now, the more you speak truth, the more their manipulation doesn't work. The more they're completely disarmed. So the agenda is to disarm the assholes. And this is how to do it. You tell the truth. The problem is they've manipulated with delusion by wordplay. See, this is why you need to study British humor, is because you get around this shit. It's also in logic. When you understand that they are only powered because they've manipulated their influence, you have the ability to see their bullshit. What you want to do is disarm them. To disarm them, what you're really doing is disempowering them by taking away their toys. Their toys are logic and words. So what you want to do is speak the truth. But the truth is very, very precise in these cases. Their real name, and this is horrible, but it is rapist, is bigot, and is influencer. When you understand that these are their true names, and the other name I love to give them is fool. A fool is the opposite of a wise man. When you understand these 4 words, it gives you all the power. And then you'll be able to, these are literally mathematical grouping for bullies, so that when you understand these people, you can see, oh, I'm dealing with a bigot. Oh, I'm dealing with a rapist. Oh, I am dealing with an influencer who's manipulating. I'm dealing with a fool. Now, when you have these 4 groups and you understand what you are really dealing with, then you have the ability to give them their true name, which strips their mask, completely disempowers them, ends the manipulation. Now, in the bullshit that is your body, my choice, that is a rapist. That is their true name. So if they throw that at you, they are a rapist. And they need to know that that is what they are doing. Call a duck a duck. If somebody is being racist or misogynist, they're really being a bigot. And they need to be reminded of that. But more importantly, you need to remind yourself of this. Now, there is one really, really big rule here. And the rule is we do not negotiate. We do not give them our pearls. Your pearls are your time, your words, your energy, your headspace, your limelight, your audience. They're not allowed. These are your treasures. Do not give them to them. No pearls before swine. So there's a swine grouping, and the swine grouping is a manipulative influencer, a bigot, a rapist, or what's the other one I just said? Can't remember. Go back on the video. It's that one. It's these 4 groups. A fool. Now, the fool is somebody who is illogical. And this is easily the hardest thing to recognize in all of this. And the reason why is because you are in a logical discussion with someone who is not using reasoning. So you're sitting there in a conversation with somebody who's unreasonable, and you're confused because there's no reason. So you're sitting here going through it going, I don't understand. This is confusing. And you start focusing on making sense of nonsense. My favorite word is twaddle. Twaddle. Twaddle means nonsense. So they're speaking twaddle at you. And you're so confused because it's twaddle that you start focusing on, I got to make sense of nonsense. And then you get all your attention closed off into fix the nonsense, make it right. And that's how they trap you. You are officially a fool's fool. So you need to separate yourself and recognize it. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is hard. This is hard. Is training yourself to recognize nonsense while you're inside the trap. This is how they get you. I was falling for this up to about 2 months ago. It took awareness, strict discipline to recognize it. And I am a world-class logician. It's hard because you get so focused on, I must fix the logic, that becomes your downfall. That is right where they catch you. This is how narcissists ensnare you, is they distract you with illogic by building a delusion of sense and reasoning. They get you doubting your own logical ability to conclude, so you trust them and you immediately submit to their logic over yours, and now they're throwing shit at you and nonsense. And you're so focused, confused at trying to make sense of nonsense that you're oblivious to what they're really doing. They are a fool. And what you need to understand is that a fool speaks without reasoning. They are unreasonable, which means you cannot speak to them. You cannot argue with them. Conversation is over. Conversation cannot even begin. So before you enter into a conversation, you need to stop throwing yourself in the pool. And that's what's going on here, is every conversation is a swimming pool. You must, this is how I stopped this and got out of the mindset. I viewed every conversation as a pool of water. Now, I can swim in water. I cannot swim in a delusion of water. So before I jump into the pool, I have to stop and ask myself, is this twaddle or is this actual reasoning? Now, I know how to assess reasoning. Go to Wikipedia and Google list of fallacies. There's your twaddle. It's literally all the logical fallacies. It's every narcissist trick in the book. List of fallacies. It'll give you everything you need to know. So once you have that list, oh, you're going to have fun. You're going to go, oh my God, and it's all going to make sense, and you're going to get angry, and then we're all going to shift into the world of logic, and it's going to be wonderful. Because this is where a narcissist lives. This is what they have weaponized, is logic. They've actually weaponized lying and illogic. And once you understand logic, they're disarmed. This is how you disarm the fool. So when you realize that this is a person who's unreasonable or illogic, refuse to get into the pool. Do not get into the pool. Go, oh, that's a delusion of a pool. Yeah, I don't want to get in there. If you don't do this discernment and you put yourself in the pool, getting out is a whole nother nightmare. You've got to then project your mindset out of the pool, look at yourself in the situation, and literally out of body experience, and go, oh, I see the big picture. I got to zoom out and understand where I'm really dealing with. There's no reason here. I need to get out of this. And then you exit stage left. A fool is one who talks without reason. And this is their safe place. And they're the first ones to tell you you're insane, crazy, or illogical. Insanity is just illogic. So the insane is calling you insane. Don't get in the pool. So once you understand these 4 groups of bullies, and it's all under that umbrella, and then you're in a position where you can go, okay, there's the bigot umbrella. What are the 4 types of bullies? Don't talk to them. They get no limelight. They get no fruit from you. There's no pearls. They are swine. They get no conversation. Now, this is really, really important. Those are the people who, unfortunately, learned that the only way they can get love or attention, is through conflict, is through arguing. One moment, I gotta clear my throat. The only way that they ever got attention or love or anything was through conflict and argument. They also learned that illogic would keep them safe. So it put them in a position where they were able to secure the upper hand by confusing their enemy and getting the limelight and the audience from that enemy. That way they can be loved. So when they're arguing with you, it's to get love and attention from you. And when you argue back, you're rewarding them. So they keep it going. They love to argue. That's why they keep dragging you into it. But when you start to deny them and say, no, that is not love. That is not love. Now, they're not going to know this because this is deep psychology. They're not going to know this, but you need to know it. Say to yourself, this is not love. This is not how you get love from people. This is not how you interact with people. It is not about who voted for who. It is not about any kind of politics. It is about them wanting love from you in that moment by you giving them the attention that they think is love. That's not love. So immediately shut them down, deny them, and they need to go in a corner. And I do mean block them every time you see them. Boycott bullies. Boycott them. That's what you're doing. This is the power of boycott. You boycott the bully, and that preserves your peace. It keeps you sane of mind. But here's the thing. It sets the example. So as you're in these chat groups and as you're in forums and in conversations, in comments, what you are really doing is showing other people how it's done. And they're going to go, ooh, I love that. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to do that. And that when you hear someone say, I'm going to steal that, that's it right there. That's what you want to hear, because then it will spread. That's how you teach. This is teaching other people through role modeling. So when you learn this, you do it. And then other people go, oh, that's how it's done. One of my favorite lines is from the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. And it's when the house arrest, I think was the name of the movie. It's when the kids, to prevent their parents from getting a divorce, locked their parents in the basement. You know, they were Gen X's. And they were Gen X's. You know it. You know it. And every Gen Xer went, oh, that's how it's done. And there is a line. There's a couple inside of that. There's a lot of couples. You really need to watch the movie. It's a fantastic movie. This is how it's done, people. Don't lock your parents in basements. This is how it's done. There is this woman. She is very mousy. She's very obedient. She's the obedient, abused housewife. And her husband is this narcissistic piece of shit who just shits on her through the whole movie. And there's this moment where the mother finds alcohol in the bags and realizes that the kids have been drinking while they're locked in the basement by their kids. And she just blows up and she's screaming at them. So you think this is the way you respect. And even though she's their prisoner, she's lecturing her child about the irresponsibility of drinking. One of my favorite speeches by Jamie Lee Curtis is this one. And this mousy housewife watches it and she goes, oh, that's how it's done. And at the end of the movie, she turns on her husband and does the same thing to him. That's how people learn. So when you are in these forum chat rooms and you get confronted by a bully, don't argue with them. What you are really doing, your agenda needs to go from, this is not about them, it's about protecting other people. This is how I do it. This is exactly how I do it. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the viewers. I know other people are watching. So I set the example. The example is not for the narcissist. It's for you to see how it's done. So I assert myself. I say that's not acceptable. You need to do a maturity check. I don't talk to fools. End of discussion. And what I'm really doing is setting the example. And a lot of times, this is something else I do, is I will literally say, I will reply to the bully, but I won't actually be talking to the bully. I will be directing all of my attention away from the bully. And I'll say, so readers who are passing by, this is an example of psychology. This is what he's doing. This is what I'm doing. This is how I am responding. And I'm doing this so you know how to handle a person like this. Now I am blocking this person. You will be able to see it, but this is how it's done. And I do that to set the example for the audience to learn. You start doing that and it will spread like wildfire. And then exit stage left. Do not allow that swine your fruit. Don't allow the swine the fruit. And I mean, that really could become a hashtag so easily, is pearl swines or swine pearls. Pearls and swine. Oh, I like that one. Hashtag pearls and swine. Pearls and swine. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's it right there. Pearls and swine. Or should it be swine and pearls? That's it right there. Hashtag swine and pearls. That's it right there. Because let me see here. Yeah, that's it right there. Swine and pearls. That's it right there. Or maybe it should be pearls before swine. Pearls before swine. No pearls before swine. Oh my God, do I love that. No pearls before swine. So I'm going to do this hashtag, no pearls before swine. And I'm going to be, this video is going to go with it, no pearls before swine. And that way, if people hashtag it, they can see this video, they can understand, oh, that's what we're doing. This is how it's done. No pearls before swine. And this will shut them down so fucking fast. That's how it's done. So when you understand how to handle bullies and what it does inside of their minds, is it teaches them this is unacceptable behavior. It's not tolerated. You just got sent to the corner. No pearls before swine. This is the best part of all of this. This is their dirt. Do with it as you feel necessary. Enjoy. May the kindest of words always find you, and happy healing.